Print, email, Facebook, Twitter. More. Hobart homelessness up 21%. Figures reveal, but government rejects data. Homelessness in Hobart rose by 21% over 5 years, new figures have revealed. The Launch Housing Australian Homeless Monitor, released today, showed Hobart had the fourth highest increase in the number of homeless people in the capital for the period between 2011 and 2016, behind Sydney, Darwin, and Brisbane. Tasmanian Council of Social Service CEO Kim Goods said many of those homeless people are children. We have a number of Tasmanian children who live in families where poverty is the reality, and as rental stress increases, as mortgage stress increases and the number of properties that are available for families decreases, it is not unexpected that we now have a number of young children and teenage children that are not living in what we would consider appropriate conditions for anybody, she said. We talk about that as an issue of housing, but actually the impacts are so much broader. The impacts are on their learning, their capacity to go to school, their capacity to access healthcare. We have concerns over the winter period in terms of being able to access flu vaccines. We have a number of families that are being forced to share accommodation with other families. We have a number of families with children who are living with their parents in quite crowded environments. There are examples of people sleeping rough with small children. The report analysed data between 2011 and 2016 that had been collected by various government bodies and support agencies. Tasks said the situation had worsened since the rental crisis, driving the cost of living and homelessness up. The report's authors said while historically there had been plenty of private affordable housing, it had failed to increase in line with demand. That had resulted in the wait list for social housing blowing out from 2,000 applicants to the 3,000 currently. Government rejects data as distorted. A state government spokesman said that the government understood the real challenges facing Tasmanians who are having trouble finding affordable housing. That's why we convened the Housing Summit in March that brought together key stakeholders to identify potential solutions which continue to be rolled out to help Tasmanians in need, the spokesman said. That's in addition to the ongoing rollout of our $125 million affordable housing strategy that is expected to provide an additional 1,500 new affordable homes for Tasmanians, and assist around 2,000 households. The Launch Housing Australian Homeless Monitor report found government expenditure on social housing investment decreased by almost $30 million between 2011 to 2016, while the government expenditure on homelessness services increased by 30% to $25.5 million. A state government spokesman said the figures were skewed. The Hodgman government has actually significantly increased our investment in public housing, the spokesman said. This data is distorted as it doesn't take into account the government's Better Housing Futures program, which has transferred over 4,000 homes to community housing providers, allowing the government and the community sector to work together to build even more affordable housing for Tasmanians. Additionally, statistics recently released by the ABS show that the number of public sector dwelling approvals has increased by more than a massive 300% on the last year. A newly established Tasmania Working Group on Housing and Homelessness, which includes representatives from Tasks, Shelter Tasmania, Housing Industry Australia, and the Real Estate Institute, met for the first time last week. The report was released by Launch Housing, a Melbourne-based independent community agency whose aim is to